It's the richest event in Oklahoma horse racing, and it's coming up on Saturday, May 30th at Remington Park. I'm Taylor Van Bebber. The $1 million Heritage Place Futurity is a Grade 1 event that attracts many of the most promising 2-year-olds in quarter horse racing. Time trials were run earlier this month. Those with the 10 fastest times comprise the field for the final on May 30th. Let's learn more about the top prospects as RACEVIEW Network goes inside the Heritage Place Futurity.
Horses with the 5 fastest times on each night of Heritage Place Futurity trials make it to the May 30th final. The first set of time trials for the 350-yard race were run on May 8th. Posting the 4th fastest time was Contender from the Eddie Willis training stable. Owned by Bob Moore Farms, the colt has 2 wins and a second from 3 starts, along with $25,000 in earnings. With Justine Claver in the saddle, Contender jumped out to an early lead and prevailed by a half length at the wire. The jockey's work ethic is valued by Willis, Remington Park's all-time leading quarter horse trainer.
She's a good girl, and she's young, and she's not afraid to work. You know, that's the main thing around me. You got to work, and she's made, you know, she's rode really well for me. She's the first female that's ever rode for me. So
Really?
that says a little.
Okay, so Contender, Justine rides that horse for you? And
She's the only one that's ever been on him, and he's really a nice horse. You know, runs really good every time I've ran him. So.
How about in particular the trial? Take us through that a little
Well,
bit.
he ran. You know, he left our running and wound up and finished the race good and qualified. So that's about all you can ask him to do.
Eddie Willis qualified as second horse to the Heritage Place Futurity on May 8th. HR Princess Jess set the day's 3rd fastest time and just 0.08 of a second faster than her stablemate Contender. Larry Rice owns the filly, who ran a non-qualifying second in a Remington Park Futurity trial in April.
He ran a perfect race. Really ran real good at the end of the race, where, you know, that's where it pays you, you know. So she's coming around just right. She should run a really good race.
What do you like best about her?
Well, fast. I think she's fast. That's what I like about her the best. You know, she's got a little bit of attitude, but it doesn't matter. As long as she's fast, you can put up with it.
Jimmy Brooks has been aboard HR Princess Jess for both of her races. Look for him to return in Saturday night's Heritage Place Futurity final. With $55,000 in earnings, Angelica Gill's Coronado's Lady is the second richest finalist in the Futurity field. A major part of that came from her 3rd place finish in the Oklahoma Futurity on March 21st. Conditioned by Jonathan Chavera, Coronado's Lady turned in the 2nd fastest time of the May 8th trials. Jockey Daniel Torres was in the irons for that race, which was the filly's first career win. The most rapid of all runners on May 8th was Shotgun, whose time of 17.641 seconds was the 2nd fastest from both sets of Heritage Place Futurity trials. Heath Taylor trains the gelding for owner Bobby Cox. Shotgun's first career start resulted in his disqualification from 2nd to 10th place, but he and jockey Rodrigo Vallejo turned it all around in his Heritage Place trial to win by a half length while setting the evening's top mark. Running second behind Shotgun was first-time starter Coronado's Chick. The filly is conditioned by John Steinball for owner Garland Shelton. Piloted by Raul Valenzuela, she had the 5th fastest time of the night, good enough for a spot in Saturday night's $1 million feature at Remington Park. Coronado's Chick will be the only maiden in the Heritage Place Futurity final.
Hello, I'm CELINA MOLINA, singer, actress, animal lover, and racehorse owner. Few things give me greater joy than to watch them do what they truly love, to compete at the racetrack. And like thousands of other quarter horse owners, I respect and love my horses and give them the best of care. They're like family. Come see the world's fastest athletes at a racetrack near you. I might just see you there.
RACEVIEW Network's Inside is sponsored by the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association and by American Quarter Horse Association. The May 9th Heritage Place Futurity Trials had a few subplots that make things a little more interesting going into the final on Saturday, May 30th. This race yielded 2 qualifiers for the $1 million test. Candy Blood, trained by Guillermo Valdivia for owner Rick Sumner, pulled away to a 1-length victory while putting up the night's 3rd fastest time. Armando Ramirez II was aboard Candy Blood, who is now 2 for 2 with $17,000 in the bank. Also qualifying while running second in that heat was BPMYSOUTHERNDYNASTY, who, along with Coronado's Lady, are the most experienced finalists with 4 starts each. The performance by this D. Keener charge is a bit more impressive when you consider he ran with only 3 shoes for most of the race.
When he broke, I thought there's nothing going to catch him. And he threw a front right shoe, and I thought that might have hindered him a little, you know. I think the horse will be good in the finals.
BPMYSOUTHERNDYNASTY is owned by Elizabeth Logan, who at 93 years young is a relative newcomer to racehorse ownership. It's been a successful enterprise though, as her horse EC Revenge won the Grade 2 Oklahoma Futurity and Heritage Place Juvenile last year. Miss Logan has relied on Keener for advice on horse purchases, but for BPMYSOUTHERNDYNASTY, she ventured out on her own.
We looked at horses at the Heritage all one day, and we were kind of finished. I mean, we'd looked all day, couldn't really find nothing. And she goes in the sale ring and says, "I'm gonna buy me a horse." We were eating lunch, and she went in there and bought him. And it's kind of a, you know, he's been good.
This was by herself?
Right. We did. Yeah, after she bought him, she came out, she said, "Y'all need to look at this horse." So we went and looked at him, and shoot, he's been good.
Well, she's learning the game.
Yeah, that's right. When we go to the sales, I think I'll just take her.
She's got to be a lot of fun to work with.
Oh, she is. I'm really happy for her.
The 4th fastest horse in the May 9th trials was Nove Racing's Dash for Blood. Ridden by Stormy Smith, this was the gelding's first win in 2 attempts. He may be small in stature, but everything else about Dash for Blood is big time, according to his trainer, Lyle Wood.
In the trials, he naturally just fired away from there really good, and you know what, when he left there like that, well, you know, naturally that's where you win a lot of horse races, is away from the gate. But the further he went, the better he got. We call him the little big horse, and you know, if every horse had a heart like him, we'd have a lot of fast horses. But he's got a big heart and loves his job.
Second on the list of May 9th finalists in the Heritage Place Futurity is Instigator. He's made a habit of daylight victories, winning his debut by 3 1/4 lengths and taking his trial by 2. Owned by Jose Guzman, the gelding has a perfect 2 for 2 record and $16,000 in earnings. Instigator is conditioned by Jacobo Mejia. He's one of 3 Heritage Place Futurity finalists ridden by James Flores in their trials. The other 2 being BPMYSOUTHERNDYNASTY and the horse we'll look at next on Inside the Heritage Place Futurity.
Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association encourages the breeding and ownership of Oklahoma-bred horses, promotes and protects racing opportunities in the state, and represents our members' interests at the state capitol. Learn more at oqhra.com.
RACEVIEW Network's Inside is sponsored by American Quarter Horse Association and by the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association. On May 9th, the first trial for the $1 million Heritage Place Futurity was won by Ain't She Tempting. 9 races later, her time of 17.57 seconds remained as the fastest from both nights of qualifying heats.
Ain't she tempting, putting on a show here? No one's within 3. Ain't she tempting? Impressive.
The Fillies jockey was James Flores, who rode 2 other Futurity qualifiers. Owned by Levings Racing and Dunn Ranch, Ain't She Tempting had already made a name for herself at Remington Park, having taken the Grade 2 Oklahoma Futurity on March 21st. By virtue of that victory, Ain't She Tempting is the richest horse in the Heritage Place Futurity field with more than $164,000 in earnings. Her trainer is Monty Arosa, who's usually based at Los Alamitos and the Pacific Northwest. This year, he's added a string of horses at Remington Park. His runners have been in the money 73% of the time at the Oklahoma City track, which includes 2 other added money wins, topped off by the Grade 1 Leo Stakes with Dexter. Speaking to us from his office at Los Al, Arosa says his filly, whose best attribute is her demeanor and professionalism, came back well from the trial and is coming up to the final in good order. Okay, well, first of all, you are out there in California. Things are a little bit more stringent as far as other states. You are complying with everything regarding COVID-19, as is everybody at Los Al.
Yes, I'm here with my my face mask and my gloves that we wear all the time when we're on track and at the races. And yeah, things have been pretty stringent. It's been pretty tough on me not being able to travel out to Oklahoma, to be there with the horses. But I'm very thankful for some great help that's taking care of them. We spend a lot of time on the phone. But yeah, this has been a scary and a different time. And so I've wanted to comply with the travel regulations and not travel. I was asked by Los Al, not to travel. And so I've wanted to cooperate with that. And but it's been tough, but like I say, it's a scary time, and we're just trying to make the best of it.
Let's talk about the Futurity. How's the filly doing since the trial?
She came out of the trials really well. She, we weren't really expecting. We expected she'd run well in the trials, but that performance was pretty awesome, and she actually bounced back out of the trials very happy and very sound, and she's been doing well the last couple of weeks.
Have you done any extra schooling, bringing her up to front and in the paddock and stuff during race nights?
We haven't. She's been a professional filly right from the get-go, and she's done everything right, and so we've done a lot of extra schooling at the starting gate. We've spent extra time at the gate. We like to do that with all of our horses. But as far as with the paddock, no, we haven't done any extra schooling over there. But like I say, she's been pretty professional and has handled things very well.
What is it you like the best about Ain't She Tempting?
Oh, I love her disposition. She's a real quiet filly. She knows when it's race day. She knows when it's race time. But I like her disposition and I like her mind. She's extremely smart. You show her something once and she knows it. She's got it, and that's what I like best about her.
Have you seen the competition? Have you looked at all the trials?
To be honest with you, I haven't. So I was just felt pretty blessed to qualify. And I really haven't looked at the competition. We really can't control what happens with any of the other horses, and so we've just stayed focused on our horse.
Racehorse trainers are very busy people with hectic schedules. We surely appreciate Monty Arosa and all of our guests taking the time to be with us on the show. While the $1 million Grade 1 Heritage Place Futurity tops the May 30th card at Remington Park, the rest of the night is full of stakes races that feature some of the sport's top talent, including the Grade 2 Heritage Place Derby for 3-year-olds, the Remington Distance Championship, a Grade 2 race around the hook at 870 yards, the Grade 1 Juno's Request for older fillies and mares, and the Grade 1 Debbie Schaaf Invitational Championship, featuring many of the best older runners in quarter horse racing. It's all happening Saturday, May 30th at Remington Park.